Hello, Ragers. I've returned from my 8-month hiatus with some rather unfortunate news. You see, I planned on starting this video off by sharing some information about this new, really cool and awesome underground low-key next-up brand. However, the designer, who was really doing some really interesting things and had collaborations in the works with, and even from one of my favorite brands. But yeah, the designer just one day stopped communicating with his audience. This made sense since he was into the whole ethos of. But anyway, interestingly enough, when the designer vanished, so did all of the remaining clothing of the brand. The factory, which was in a remote, undisclosed location, was tracked down and obliterated by a Predator missile, which is pretty crazy, and apparently the missile was carrying this toxic that spread across the globe and ate away at all the fabrics used to produce the garments. However, this toxin is untraceable, so no one else had even noticed it. It was really a shame, because you know me, a guy who really likes sharing information and welcoming all of you with his pleasant and uplifting attitude and accompanying enthusiastic voice and mannerisms. But since I'm already here, I guess this serves as a good segue into today's topic, which pertains to the subject matter of gatekeeping. I've recorded a longer and frankly cooler intro, but you guys don't want to hear that for real, you ain't ready for it, so let me keep this one to myself. I'm making moves in silence.
What are you listening to?
Nah.
No?
What happened?
You're not listening?
Nah.
Gatekeeping, as explained by the first thing that comes up on Google, can be described as the activity of controlling and usually limiting general access to something. Someone who engages in gatekeeping can be referred to as a gatekeeper, meaning they're the ones who withhold information or whatever it may be. Personally, I learned about gatekeeping through my favorite artist and musician, Drain Gang Blade. The fundamentals of gatekeeping are highly debated. Much like every other point of contention, arguments can be made in support of both sides. However, I only choose to listen to the arguments in support of the side that I like. As this channel is dedicated to the love of conspicuous consumption and the love of fashion and spreading knowledge, I'll mainly be focusing on instances of gatekeeping that I commonly see occur within the realm of fashion. Although I'm sure I'll make reference to some cool niche underground anime and music. Throughout the fashion scene online, pertaining to those who interact in fashion-related communities on platforms such as Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, TikTok, and whatever else, there are two common sentiments regarding gatekeeping. One side believes that gatekeeping is bad, which I've depicted as the soy Wojak, and the other believes that gatekeeping is good, as seen on the Chad Wojak. I know you guys love these little characters. Those against gatekeeping can lead their charge and further support their ideals by replying to people with sources, creating and posting educational content, and posting blueprints on Streetwear Startup. On the other hand, those in support of gatekeeping do not post on their YouTube channels for 8 months at a time. Regardless, arguments can be made in favor of both sides, which is what I'll explore now. I find the notion of the facilitation of information on the internet functioning as a double-edged sword to be really interesting. It is likely my special interest for the week and something that I will not care about tomorrow, hence why I'm choosing to write and record a video about it now. Overall, as I had previously mentioned, and you better have been listening to me, there is an interesting dichotomy that arises when investigating the implications stemming from the spread of information on the internet, especially within the realm of fashion. The spread of information helps further increase awareness for up-and-coming designers, clothing drops, niche pieces, or styles, and it can allow you to connect with others, albeit a little bit too easily. In short, it basically just renders information that was previously highly sought after a bit more accessible to the average person. Before, you had to search Yahoo auctions day and night, stay up until 4 AM hoping your bid goes through on some random CDG piece that hasn't seen the light of day since 2003. Now, you have Grail giving you notifications like this on the daily.
Wait, Harold. What do you mean?
Obviously, this is a natural progression. As a niche grows in popularity, especially on the internet, solutions to problems will naturally arise, even if the solutions are fucking cringe. Some gatekeeping enthusiasts may not like these solutions and would prefer if others endured the same troubles as they did. Moreover, when it comes to the spread and facilitation of information, social media platforms and the algorithms embedded within those platforms have given rise to unique breeds of influencers who help share and promote various topics.
Weird Weekends episode, a Weird Weekends episode, a Weird Weekends episode, a Weird Weekends episode.
As one of the fundamental goals of algorithms on capitalistic social media platforms is to keep you engaged, they quickly learn what you like and feed you more of that. I'm a simple man. I like videos of cats and bunnies on Twitter, and Twitter shows me more. When applied to fashion, these algorithms promote the feed of passive information consumption. This is just information that you're casually browsing. You aren't actively searching for it. This can result from, say, only following a bunch of fashion history-related Instagram accounts. Obviously now your whole feed is going to be related to that subject. And as you scroll, you will passively take in information. As expressed by this study that just so happens to coincide with what I'm talking about, a lot of the information that we receive nowadays is passive. We're not really looking for it. It just so happens that the more time we spend online, the more information we consume. Who would have thought, guys? It can be argued that, oh, since I followed all of these niche fashion influencers and information pages, I am actively seeking it out. However, you don't always know what you're going to get. You're still scrolling and just reading whatever comes up, then likely forgetting about it seconds later as you're fed the next chunk of information. It sort of hinders the thrill of actively seeking stuff out. You're no longer required to look up official sources and seek them out. You no longer need to go to the library or take a course on something when third parties can present you with information without you even having to ask. I know it's pretty obvious, and yeah, it's good that all this information is available, but I don't know, I just want to complain about something right now. Also, it is important to consider the sources that you're receiving this information from. Literally anyone can just create an account and start posting stuff, and chances are the average person is not going to fact check everything they see online. I'm sure you've seen countless instances of people replying with the source, none, I just made it up meme and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's cool that you don't have to go read about iconic designers in a fashion textbook, but do you really want to receive all your fashion knowledge from a 20-year-old taking on the personification of a Chrome Hearts Rick Owens wearing Wojak? Not trying to knock anyone's hustles, but it's important to consider where you are receiving information from and any possible biases, motivations, or agendas that they're trying to push. I'm pretty open with where I stand. I like hearing the sound of my own voice, and I like money. But in all seriousness, I feel as if I've been involved in the fashion scene online for a sufficient amount of time. Even before I started my online ventures, I was in some of the most prestigious groups of people, like Supreme resellers. Before I started sharing my opinions and creating content online, I made sure that I had gained enough knowledge, and I've always sort of viewed my more informational videos as a starting point, which is why I always can include links to whatever I talk about, or if I think something can help further aid in instilling you with useless fashion knowledge. In my first year of university, I even took one singular fashion course as an elective, so if that doesn't increase my credibility, I don't know what will.
Blade, be nice to me.
Anyway, the fact that information can be easily gathered and shared amongst people online really strikes a nerve of some. I don't like when people I don't like wear my favorite clothes, listen to my favorite music, or watch my favorite shows. When I do it, I'm cool and unique, but when others do it, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me. Individuals who are passionate about keeping their special hobbies and interests sacred may be prone to gatekeeping. As stated by some of the world's brightest minds on Reddit, you can sort of begin to understand the motivations of individuals who engage in gatekeeping. This coincides with people who are fans of brands that cater to a specific niche or have an appealing core ethos. For instance, this can be reflected through hiking and extreme adventurer enthusiasts getting upset that Arc'teryx was becoming popular amongst a TikTok crowd who spent hundreds of dollars on hiking tech jackets and pants just to stand in the shower. Same with Rick Owens, a brand based on the ethos of working out in modern couture and uniform fashion. Obviously not everyone wears the brand for that reason. Like, Gunna is not wearing Rick to work out. And this is not a fat joke. I mean this in the sense that Gunna is famous. He wears Rick because it's the popular thing. But there are definitely diehard workout fans who get upset at people with certain body types who wear Rick, like Gunna. Moving on, the channel This Is Antoine made a video covering the topic of gatekeeping with specific regard to techwear, where he presented some interesting points as well. One notion in particular centered around people gatekeeping because they don't want new people who haven't been through the same things or learn the same information being not qualified to partake in a certain hobby or interest, since they don't hold the same value or the thing to the same standard. The comments promote some more interesting debates as well, and although it's about a year old, the video still holds up, or at least the first few minutes do. I do not have the attention span required for watching a 10+ minute video. Although finding a new hobby or interest is cool, and if you're like me, you want to learn everything about it right away so that you can become an elitist and gatekeep it, it is also important to remember that random people on the internet do not have to provide you with information. Like, it's not their obligation. Although some communities are nicer than others, no one is really entitled to anything. I've never really been on the receiving end of gatekeeping before, but maybe I just can't remember being gatekept, and to be fair, I was never one to really reach out for help or ask questions on forums, but there's usually workarounds to gatekeeping. A pretty crazy thing that you can do is Google the information that you're searching for. Sure, if you're looking for something more niche, there's a good chance that the direct answer won't always be there, which can be annoying, but when it comes to a question regarding a certain fashion designer or season or whatever it may be, there's a good chance that there's a primary source material out there like show notes, or more often than not, secondary source material such as interviews or articles about the topic at hand. From there, once you gain enough knowledge about a certain subject, chances are you can make inferences and figure out whatever you were curious about before. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but in short, what I'm trying to say is as you gain more knowledge about something, you'll slowly start to clue into things surrounding the topic, whether it's inside jokes or common phrases or whatever. Additionally, some people may gatekeep for insecurity reasons or for the sake of themselves. Like, not wanting a certain designer to succeed because that means the brand will become more mainstream is definitely selfish and not a good reason to gatekeep in my eyes. When looking at it positively though, I feel as if the more a community is gatekept, the more passionate that community usually is. So if you're ever given a hard time by someone online who doesn't give you information about what season wax denim Playboy Cardi is wearing, don't let it detour you. Instead, let it motivate you to one day be on the other side of the gate. All in all, I hope this allowed you to gain a better understanding behind a few debates surrounding gatekeeping. Either way, thank you for listening to my little rant. Now, forget all that you heard, because this information presented in this video is mine and mine alone. Truth be told, in the months I've been gone, I've actually just been gatekeeping my content. But jokes aside, get ready for the summer of FHTV, the first YouTube channel to reach 1 trillion subscribers. I've got some good stuff planned, so stick around so I can gaslight and use you to further our parasocial relationship. I made this video because I was sitting on the idea for the thumbnail and intro bit for months, but I'll be posting some more formulaic videos and other new stuff soon. So with that being said, later Ragers.
Defenders win.